In today's episode, the Colts release arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, the Saints get caught, and Brees is pissed. All that and more, you're watching The Pitch. Hey, and welcome to The Pitch. As always, I am Mitch Sabatelli, and next to me is Mike Pepsperoni.
What's up?
We filmed this segment earlier today called Mitch's Pitch. We had a lot of topics today, so we weren't going to be able to cover everything. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. But we got to roll here. Peyton Manning was released by the Colts as they apparently will move on and take Andrew Luck with the number 1 pick. Peps, thoughts on Manning and his release by the Colts?
I think first of all is with Manning in the car with Irsay. You could tell he was like trying to hold back. Irsay was like he's just like Jim, just please, just tell him to go away. Tell him to go away. He's like hiding in a shadow. But I think he's really just being a true brainiac. He doesn't want to like make anything look bad. He doesn't want to be one of those players to make everything go sour over his career and be like the Brett Favre type of thing, Green Bay. Now everyone doesn't really like him over there type of thing when he went to Minnesota and everything. But I think it's a big move. It's a big, bold move. I think Irsay is trying to live in the shadow of his father a little too much, trying to get rid of the old quarterback, bring the new. You are getting rid of a man named Peyton Manning, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He does realize that. It's a bold move. I mean, if it works out for him, it'll be good for him. But, I mean, I think it's just a shame the way it happened, because Manning, you tell, didn't really want to leave. He wanted to end his career in Indianapolis, but unfortunately he can't. And, hey, things happen.
What a class act by Peyton Manning. He handled this terrifically, the whole entire process. And, Jim Irsay, he could have handled this a little bit better, but I think ultimately he made the right decision. I mean, when you have a guy who's 36 years old, coming off of an injury, I think to the neck. 4 necks. I mean that's a serious injury. When you have a guy, Andrew Luck, who everybody's been talking about for the last 3 years, is probably the next coming is Peyton Manning, and 15 years younger, you got to take him. It was the right move by the Colts and Jim Irsay. But you got to give it hats off to Peyton Manning, one of the greatest rivalries in the history of the game, and Brady and Manning, the best player-on-player rivalry I think I've ever seen. You got to give what he did for the Colts. He got to 2 championships. He won the championship. I think 3 MVPs. The guy was a stat machine. He was arguably, like I said, the greatest quarterback of all time. As far as stats-wise, I think you got to put him right up there.
One of the best regular season quarterbacks ever.
Throwing championships out of it, I think you got to put Manning right there at number 1. If not counting regular championships, Yes. And so, I mean, the Colts handled it. They could have handled it a little bit better. But what happened to them last season was, I mean, it really showed how bad that Colts team was with Manning there, and just give him the respect that he deserves. Let him go out in style. Now you got teams coming all over trying to look for this guy, and now I'm going to bring that up. Now, what teams are going to be looking at him? I look at a couple here. A lot of people are saying the Jets, and what a huge rivalry that would be with the Patriots, Rex Ryan, Belichick, Brady, and then throw him with the rivalry with the Giants, with Eli. That's just a rivalry fiesta right there. That's crazy.
The Manning brothers, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if Peyton would really want to go into New York. He's more of the big fish in the small pond. That's why he wanted to go to Indy. I mean, when I first hear the word Indianapolis, I think of the Indianapolis 500, and I think of Peyton Manning. That's all I hear. If you throw him in New York, he'll just be another one of the guys. I think the best thing for him to go right now, and I know Peps, you're going to disagree with me, is Miami. You look at left tackle, the most important position that he needs. You got the best left tackle in the game in Jake Long. You got a running back behind there, with a serviceable running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. And also, Reggie Wayne is going to go wherever Peyton Manning goes. Throw Peyton Manning in there with already Brandon Marshall, Devin Best, the third best slot receiver after Victor Cruz and Wes Welker, as well as Reggie Wayne, a guy who he knows has been on his team for the last 10 years, knows him better than anybody else. Throw them with a solid up-and-coming defense, real good secondary, all under Bill Parcells. I love him in Miami. He gets to play Patriots twice. Great move.
That might not be a good thing, though. He's got a pretty damn tough division to go through. Mm-hmm. You move Peyton Manning to a team out west named the Arizona Cardinals, and you got yourselves a massive championship contender that will take down Alex Smith and the phony 49ers, no problem, coming up season.
But what about... Kevin, let me just
finish. Yeah. You got Larry Fitzgerald. Who needs Reggie Wayne? We'll throw him off the map. We'll just bring in Larry Fitzgerald. Bring in Arizona, who was 8-8. They came back, and they were having a pretty bad season. The defense stepped up big time. You have a solid defense. You have a very solid defense over in Arizona who's actually stepped up at the end with the crappy quarterbacks. You throw in Peyton Manning, that team is easily 12-4. Considering Peyton's record as having at least 12 wins per season, as mainly just 12 wins per season on average. So Arizona will be a very good move, and even just throwing this out there, this would be the best move ever. Peyton Manning going to the Houston Texans.
Yes.
The Houston Texans, they got Matt Schaub. He's coming back. He's 30 years old. They can just drop the $7 million, get rid of that right there. I mean, I know it's tough taking a risk with a guy like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, you want to win another championship. You got 3 or 4 years to do it. You want to go to a team that can try and contend right now. You don't want to wait.
Peps,
you want to go to Houston. You got Andre Johnson. You got Aaron Foster, tough running back. You got a great Houston defense. Almost took down Baltimore with the third-string quarterback. And it would just be an amazing fit.
I love that. I love that call. I want to talk about Arizona for a second. And I like that pick with Arizona. They needed something, and you got to do something for Larry Fitzgerald, who's done so much for that franchise. But they did just trade Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie for Kevin Kolb last season.
Kevin Kolb.
And the only thing about having him go to Miami is Miami has no clear-cut up-and-comer. If he went to the Jets, it'd be tough with Mark Sanchez. If he went to the Texans, they got to move Matt Schaub.
Mark Sanchez, I don't think he's up-and-coming.
But you know what I mean, though. A guy who's you don't want a solid backup there because then he's going to be breathing down your throat. You don't want Kevin Kolb.
A fresh start if you know Sanchez can't pull out a W.
But that's the reason why he's leaving, because he doesn't want to have Andrew Luck breathing under his shoulder. He wants to be the guy there for the next 3-4 years.
You don't think you want to come back with a vengeance and go back to the division with Houston?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about that with Arizona. I love your pick with Houston. Houston, like you said, you can do what you want with Matt Schaub. It will take a little bit of process, but get him out of there.
That would be tougher than Arizona, I think.
Have Arian Foster behind you. You went to the playoffs. You almost got to the AFC Championship with T.J. Yates as a rookie quarterback, having the greatest defense in the game last year. If they do sign Mario Williams and somehow get Reggie Wayne and Peyton there, which would be very tough in the cap. I don't know exactly what their cap situation is.
Peyton was their quarterback last year. They would have smacked the Patriots.
They might have won the whole entire Super Bowl. But we got to move on here. I really like that with Arian Foster and Andre Johnson.
Decisions.
But let's move on here. The other week's top story is the Saints defensive coordinator Greg Williams bribes his players to try to injure the opposing offenses. There was I guess you got $1,000 for a card off and $1.5K for a knockout.
$1,000.
Now I can see how this is a trying to motivate your team a little bit, but it's also incredibly criminal. This is a horrible thing, You see somebody who's, granted, I mean, they've got Scott Shanley, they got Joe Dunbar, they don't really have that major enforcer like a James Harrison, but I mean, if a guy got hurt and he's down in the stretcher, you're like falsely consoling a guy saying, oh, damn. But meanwhile, you're thinking in your back of your head, you're like, damn, I just cashed in, that's another 1.5 right in my page.
1.5K, not like it means anything, because I get millions a year.
This is horrible
right
awesome. Here. And to me, I know I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm a little biased, but this is worse than Spygate. Pat, what's your take?
I think it definitely is, because Spygate, everyone back then was doing. That's what people don't remember. It was all crap.
Yeah.
You say whatever you want, 3 rings and all that. It was all just, everyone was doing it back then, and we just were dumb enough to get caught. But with this thing, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Not everyone is doing these bounties. It's just unacceptable. You deserve to pay the consequences that you will pay for doing stupid things like this. It's just, I think they should be fined $1,000. That's why I was shocked when you said $1,000. I think they should be, they were getting paid $1,000.
No, they were getting paid a K
why would you do
for
that?
a card off, and they were getting paid 1.5K for a knockout.
I think they should be fined.
So they're criminals. They're criminals. And the worst thing is Sean Payton was in on this. But one person who was on this is Drew Brees. He's apparently all pissed off. This whole franchise is in a flux right now because they got Marcus Colson, Carl Nix, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the game, Robert Meacham, as well as Drew Brees, who are all free agents here. So they're going to deal with the scandal as well as pay Drew Brees and all these players. And apparently they're off $5 million a year with Drew Brees, who's now pissed at the Saints organization because he wasn't in on this apparently. And they're off $5 million a year on this Drew Brees deal, so they tag him. They tag a guy who won a Super Bowl and put your franchise on a map. That's a sign of disrespect.
He just broke the record for passing yards.
And he just broke the record for passing yards. You got to pay this guy.
Pay him.
But I mean, moving on, there's a few Red Sox stories here. Jason Varitek, he's been in a Red Sox uniform for 15 years. retires. Peps, what's your thoughts on Varitek?
I think he had a decent career. I mean, he had 2 World Series I was about to say Super Bowl, thing of football. World Series championships with the Boston Red Sox. Always been a good defensive catcher. Oddly, one statistic that people might not think of: very good hitter after the 7th inning.
Oh,
very clutch in the late innings.
He's pretty clutch. And you got him for
if he wasn't the best hitter, he'd come through when he didn't. I think that's part of the reason why he was like a captain for the team.
You got him back 15 years ago for Heathcliff Slocum, and you also brought Derek Lowe, one of the greatest trades of all time. Now, Jason Varitek, he was under some scrutiny throughout his time here as the Red Sox about the captain. Was he truly a captain? I mean, I think he did earn it back in that 2004 season, but you got to hats off to this guy. He caught a record 4 no-hitters for this Red Sox team with Nomo, Lester, Buchholz, and Derek Lowe. Great resume for Varitek. Like Pep said, he's actually a very underappreciated hitter, and I think that last season really did hurt him being the captain with that whole monumental collapse. But another story here, Bobby V, talking about that collapse, bans alcohol from the clubhouse, and to me this is a great great PR move by Bobby Valentine. Right. He needed to do this. And I think he did it at a perfect time. If he did it right when he came here, there would have been some problems. Oh, he's trying to do too much. He let the team go a little bit, and then he makes this thing saying there's no alcohol in the clubhouse. And apparently David Ortiz came in a 17 pounds lighter, Ryan LaVarnway is coming in 25 pounds lighter, and Bobby Jenks is in better shape. Everyone's better shape. Now only Popeyes has to go out of business, and this team should be a World Series contender. But and now,
what are you trying to say?
And now, Peps, what's your thoughts on Jonathan Papelbon making some comments, talking about the Red Sox fans and the Yankees here?
It's really upsetting to think that this guy is such a back talker. It doesn't really surprise me because of all the crap he talked to the mound when he was on our team. How he get amped up and talk crap to the batters and all this other stuff. It's just upsetting that after you win championships with the Red Sox, that you would do something like this against us. It's just ridiculous. You call the Boston fans ignorant fans and the Phillies fans are great fans, and then say, most of all, you're like, I'm just gonna say this. If the Yankees offer me something, I'm definitely gonna take it. I definitely do that. Yeah. It's just ignorant, and it shows a lack of class in Jonathan Papelbon.
Yeah,
as a relief pitcher.
Cinco Ocho was a douche here. Look, he wants to bring his shipping up to Boston song up to Philly, and they're kind of pissed at him for that. He signed this big contract. Keep your mouth shut here. You say that you're a Yankee hater for 5 years. You're a big Red Sox guy, one of the faces of the Red Sox. Then you say this comment right after saying how the Red Sox fans know absolutely nothing. I'm a Red Sox fan, and Pep's a Red Sox fan. We both think we know some stuff. Yeah. And these Phillies fans, saying the Phillies fans are smarter than Red Sox fans, I think that was a complete lack of judgment on Papelbon's part.
He's probably just saying also the Yankee on a better team with a better pitching staff.
The Yankee thing wasn't as worse as the Red Sox fan thing, but I still think that was the icing on the cake. Horrible PR move by Jonathan Papelbon saying that he would go to the Yankees.
Perfect time for him to talk. Perfect time for him to talk. I just want to say one thing. Sorry. Perfect time for him to talk trash when you come to a team with such a good back, with such a good enough starting rotation and lineup to back you up. You can just start talking trash against your old team now.
Keep your mouth shut. Lay off the. Get out there. Get your own new song for Philly. Ship it up to Philly. But we got to move on here. Rapid fire. Each person gets 20 seconds. We might have to cut it to like 10 seconds here. Arian Foster, 5 years, $43 million. Real quick, Peps.
They better lock him up. He saved them. He saved them. He kept them going in the playoffs. They beat the Bengals with him. I mean, he's done so much for that organization. They better lock him up, especially in tough times. And now with Matt Schaub coming back.
In my opinion, the best running back in the game.
Pretty much.
Bring Peyton Manning in here. You advance your level to another illegal level. And for under $10 million a year, I'll definitely take that. And also, Stevie Johnson, 5 years, $36 million. I love this deal for Ryan Fitzpatrick. This guy's his go-to guy. Great move.
He just keeps the showboating down.
Yeah. And also, Marshawn Lynch, 4 years, $31. And he had a breakout season last year. The guy's real good.
Especially in Seattle with that weak division over there. He'll tear it up even more next year.
And then Steelers cut Hines Ward, James Farrier, defensive end Aaron Smith, and they won't take Mike Wallace.
Wow.
And also Indy cuts Dallas Clark, Curtis Painter, Brackett, Bullitt, Adai, and they're also taking offers for Freeney.
Clark following Peyton, maybe, if he goes to Arizona, replace the tight end situation over there.
Steelers, I would love to see Patriots try to nab Wallace for a first-round pick, but on to the Indy thing, that team's in disgrace right now. Hopefully Andrew Luck shows up. That's all we got for the time on the pitch. Until next time, you're watching The Pitch.